Welcome everybody to another shocking courtroom episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. Today I have a video that was brought to me this morning. I started watching it when I lit my morning ciggy, and man, the amount of smoke that came through my phone made me put out my cig. I couldn't breathe no more. And for those y'all that don't know, when I say smoked on this channel, that means someone got sentenced to a lot of time in prison. I got that saying while I was doing time in jail. Believe it or not, inmates used to say that to people coming back into the holding tank from the courtroom all the time. You could tell by the look on their face coming back into the tank. They got smoked. And today, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, the smoke was pouring through the intercoms on my phone. Speakers is probably the better word, but either way, we're going to witness an individual get sentenced for a carjacking that went wrong and left a man dead. And there was 3 people involved, but we're going to be focusing today on the shooter, the one that pulled the trigger. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoy all things lockup and crime related, then this is where you need to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. Now let me give you a little bit of the backstory before we jump into the courtroom. On Sunday, July 10th, 2022, just after noon in broad daylight, Bradley Coleman pulled up to the Quick Trip at the intersection of Peachtree Parkway and Peachtree Corner Circle to use the air pump. That's when a black passenger vehicle pulled up next to him. Gwinnett County police say one of the people in that vehicle got into Coleman's car. He was then attacked and killed. 3 people were arrested: David Booker, Josiah Hughley, and Miles Collins. Prosecutors believe Hughley was a shooter. Booker was his armed support, and Collins was a getaway driver. Coleman, the victim who was shot and killed, was a graduate of Norcross High School but lived in New Orleans and was just visiting family in town. He left behind a young daughter. Man, that's a sad story, huh? He was just there visiting his family, trying to get a little air in his tire, probably for the trip back home. I don't know. My condolences go out to all of his friends and loved ones. But now let's jump into the courtroom and witness the long list of crimes this individual is about to get sentenced for.
Josiah Hughley. I can't see him. Mr. Hughley, count 1, felony murder. I sentence you to life without the possibility of parole. Count 2, violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 1. Count 3, violation.
Already life without parole plus 20 consecutive. That means he's got to do the life sentence, come back to life, and do the other 20. And you're going to be hearing a lot about street gang activity. Look, these guys are accused of being a part of the 9 Trey Bloods, a violent street gang. So you know what that means. Everything's going to be enhanced from the amount of crimes he got to the amount of time he gets sentenced to prison. Everything is amplified if you're a registered gang member.
Count 3, violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 2.
Life plus
count
40.
10, hijacking a motor vehicle. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 3. Count 11, violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 10. Count 12, violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 11.
Life plus 100.
Count 13, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. I sentence you to 5 years consecutive to count 12. Count 14,
He looks mad.
violation of Street Gang Terrorism Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 13. Count 15, violation of Street Gang Terrorism and Prevention Act. I sentence you to 20 years consecutive to count 14. Mr. Hughley, you have now been convicted of 15 felonies, 6 of which either merge or vacate as an operation of law, so you'll be sentenced on 9 felonies. I need to inform you that you have the right to seek post-judgment relief from your felony convictions by either filing a direct appeal to a higher appellate court or to file a motion for new trial. You have 30 days from the date I sign and file your sentence with the clerk, which should be tomorrow, to file a motion for new trial to any or all of the felony charges. Ms. Drake, will you be filing a motion for new trial?
Yes, ma'am, and I did explain to my client why my appointment could not, or should not continue on this case, and I would ask the court to appoint him appellate counsel.
Right. Mr. Hughley, as Ms. Drake has probably explained to you, your appellate counsel will review everything, including Ms. Drake's representation of you, to make sure that all your appellate rights are pursued. You also have 4 years from the date your sentence is final with this court, which should be tomorrow, to file a habeas corpus. I will appoint an appellate attorney who will be in contact with you and explain all these procedures to you. You just need to know the time frame, and Ms. Drake is going to file the appropriate motion so that the 30 days does not run.
Your Honor, may I just ask the court's preference if you would like for the attorneys to file motions to withdraw with our motions for new trial, or just?
It's not necessary.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not necessary. I'll just appoint appellate counsel,
Yes, ma'am.
probably tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I think I have to wait until you file the motion to appoint them. So it won't be tomorrow, but Mr. Hughley, I will appoint you appellate counsel. Thank you. You can go with the deputies.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Drake.
But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Life plus 165 years, I believe. Also, keep in mind the individual that we seen get sentenced today was the accused shooter. But that didn't stop the other 2 individuals getting sentenced to the same amount of time. It says all 3 were sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for felony murder. They were also each given 7 20-year consecutive sentences and a 5-year consecutive sentence as well. So picture that, ladies and gentlemen. Even though 2 of them didn't pull the trigger, all 3 of them are getting charged for the 15 felonies. But some of them were merged or vacated, so they were sentenced to only 9. Either way, unless these young men have a magical loophole to jump through later on in life, they will never see the streets again. But what do you expect, man? You shoot a guy dead broad daylight while he's just visiting his family, getting some air in his tire. If you're found guilty, you know that smoke train's coming your way. But like I said, this episode was brought to me this morning. I was actually going to be doing something else today, like working on my website and my merchandise store. I know y'all probably been seeing it pop up here and there on my channel. It's because I'm trying to work all the kinks out and put new merchandise up, logos, designs, stuff like that, and I want the shop looking just right. So be on the lookout for that, not to mention my website, man. It's going to be up and running. I'm going to have some good stuff up there. New content specifically for my website alone. Maybe like a couple digital books or something. How to survive prison, or maybe just my life. You know, the ones that you just listen to, no video. Anyways, be on the lookout for all that, ladies and gentlemen. And the only way to do that is by subscribing and hitting that notification bell, setting it to all. In the meantime, though, as always, y'all be easy, be safe, and more importantly than anything, stay free.